Rory's had a heck of a year. Rory has those two signature wins early on, plus the Masters. There's no shame in what Rory's done, but the gap is massive. And then three through 10 is just, whoever's kind of feeling it at that moment.
Kirsch, excellent topics, by the way. Kirsch had the topics ready for me, Jonathan.
I didn't know. I didn't get that text. Did you send? To be fair, if you're listening to this, we're recording this on Friday night because we figured it's probably already over. And just kidding. We did wait till the end of the actual tournament, uh, and
We are
we
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 are we are recording this after the fact. I did send a text to you guys saying, "Hey, let's do this Saturday afternoon," which we would have gotten the same result. But welcome to the Best Ball Roundtable as we talk about the conclusion of the Open Championship. We could have done it on Saturday because the leader at that point, Scottie Scheffler, probably the leader. We could have done this prior to the tournament, even though I don't think any of us picked him to actually win the thing. But Scottie Scheffler, the champion golfer of the year. So,
I think I did. Oh,
did you?
I think I did. I think we
We're,
may have to go back and check the record. I
we're gonna
know
have to
I
go.
even have it written down on a document in my house
We're gonna
because
have to go
we
back and
always pick the majors.
see this on tape. Maybe so. So,
I think that this is going to be Scottie Scheffler's. This is his moment. He's going to uh, get two-thirds of the or three-quarters of the way to the Grand Slam. He's over there and going through the trials and tribulations of the Scottish Open and the mental ups and downs that provides. He's there for 2 weeks. He's acclimated. He's all of those things, and he's every week he's getting more comfortable there. And I feel like it's how he was at Augusta. I feel it's how he was at the PGA, where he just got more comfortable and he just kind of wore it down. I don't think he's going to jump out to an early lead, but he played amazing last year once he made the cut and finished high and was right there. But I think he was one of those guys that made the cut on the number and was one of the few guys from his draw to do it. And I think as long as he's on the proper side of the draw, I'm gonna say that this is Scotty Scheffler's time.
so congrats, Kirsch. Well done. You picked the number one golfer in the world
yeah.
to win, and he dominated like he always does. But as we start, let me give quick thanks to our friends at Summit, Beach Ratty, Zero Restriction, Fairway and Green. Visit their websites, use BestBall20, get you some awesome gear. If you were watching the Open Championship, they might not have needed the rain gear the whole time, but that zero restriction stuff will get the job done for sure. So, also many thanks to Western Birch, friends of the program. Go to their site. You can customize golf tees, any colors. You can throw your logo on it. WesternBirch.com. Use Best Ball in the shipping cart for a free gift. But yeah, so it's Sunday evening. The Open has been over for about 6 hours now, so we've had some time to digest, to think about this. We might be joined by Mr. Josh Decker here shortly. He had another obligation, but first, guys, how we doing? How we feeling on a Sunday evening?
It was good golf. It was fun to watch. I like the fact that Scotty, what was it, missed only hit three out of however many fairways the first or second day, and still was doing really well. And they're like, imagine if he finds the fairways. He kept missing them by 3 or 4 feet. Like I would have counted it as fairway if it were I were keeping track, but clearly they're a little bit better than me. So
I don't think Arcos would count it as fairway.
no, I would have moved. I'd like kicked it into the fairway if I were playing golf. So
That's why strokes gained matters more than counting stats these days. And
right.
Yep,
he's,
absolutely.
but
What was it? 35 holes without a bogey. Is that right? And even the double.
I,
Then he comes back and birdies the very next hole. You're just like, what are we supposed to
it,
do with
it
this guy?
it really pays to be number one in bogey avoidance in professional golf, and then also when you do make a bogey, you're number one in bounce back.
Right.
So it's a nice little double feature to have.
I have the opposite in my game. The very rare times that I get a birdie, it's the bounce forward effect,
Right.
and it's like after you get a strike, if you ever bowl, I feel like the next one's gonna be a gutter ball. So like, you might get a
Yeah,
birdie and then heads up because somebody's gonna get catch this shank or something.
yeah,
But
that's the Scheffler Scotty. You
the
did it in
Scheffler
reverse.
guy, yeah. Yep. But no, congrats. It's really cool. He's gotten 3 legs now of the Grand Slam, and all eyes are going to be on Shinnecock. I did see, I think it was who was it? Shane Bacon. Said a fun wrinkle to the Grand Slam discourse next year at Shinnecock. U.S. Open Sunday, June 21st. Also, Scottie Scheffler's 30th birthday. So, can we go ahead and predict he's going to win it now? Like,
Him versus the field, and I bet he gets better odds.
yeah,
He was plus 700 after round two, or minus 400 or something
Right,
like that after that round. Like
right,
I think Rory was second at plus 700. Like it
right.
was, the gap was massive after that point. So, he's gonna get it done next year. I don't think there's any doubt. I think this is, you know, this is this is as close to cat as we're gonna get for the foreseeable future. So
Well, you want to throw out the number of days, Robbie? We were just talking about that before we got on the
yeah,
call.
go for it. Go for it.
Oh, we've all saw it, right?
yeah.
1,197 days exactly for both Tiger and Scotty from their first major till they win their fourth. My first thought is the Matrix was broken, and that clearly there's a glitch in the system. So everybody look for your black cat. Shout out to anybody over the 40 years old. But like that's insane, and yet he's still light years away from how good Tiger was, at
Yeah.
least in terms of dominance.
Yeah,
I
I
s-
think it was. I started poking around. I think I heard it or read it somewhere online, but the comparison is not Tiger of 2000 99 to 2001, 2002 Tiger. I think would have to give this version of Scotty 5 shots a tournament. Like that's how good that Tiger was. Like that peak of I'm that much better than everyone that's ever played this game. But Tiger from the Hank Haney years, the that '03, '04 to '08 time frame, that's where we're looking at pretty much apples to apples between them.
So once Tiger decided to fix his non-broken swing, that's whenever, that's whenever we can compare him.
Yeah, well, he had to make that change so he didn't get hurt.
Right.
yeah. I did see this stat. This will kind of lead into the next topic. And Kirsch, many thanks for throwing out some topics for us. But I did see somebody posted this. I can't remember who, so I apologize. But they took a screenshot from the Golf Channel coverage comparing each number, the start number for each major win, and they compared Scotty and Rory. So the first major, Rory won on his 11th start, Scotty on his 10th. Second major, Rory got his second on the 17th start, Scotty on the 18th. Third major, Rory on his 24th. Scotty jumps him and gets it on his 23rd. And then they both won their fourth major on their 25th major start. Now, Rory on his fifth major got it on his 64th start. And I think, like we all agree, Scotty will get one well before that. So
Although
let's go ahead.
the commentary at that moment was it wouldn't have taken long for Rory to do it. Like no one would have guessed 40 majors later it would have taken him to get his fifth. So it is the odd thing about all dominant players in sports, right? You find someone, and I think a lot of it, some of it has to do with pining for the days of someone to be dominant. There's lots and lots of outlets, including this one, to talk about. And so we're all kind of looking for the next guy there's no way in the world this will happen. I mean, Jordan Spieth, Thomas, like there's always somebody that the assumption is, and Kirsch loves it, the 18-month heater. There's always somebody that you're expecting to be that next guy. And then sometimes they're not. Most of the time they're not. I think we would all, I mean, everyone would say, yeah, sure, that's not going to happen this time. But, I mean, Scheffler himself just recently made some comments about what golf does for him. And you kind of wonder, like, if at some point he loses focus because he just chooses that this isn't really as entertaining as it should be.
And
Um,
he's already been
See,
arrested once, so it could happen again.
yeah. See, I think I read the Scotty quotes from earlier in the week a little bit differently in the sense of I think I think he's a pretty deep guy. I think he thinks about some stuff and he just doesn't share it all with us.
Yeah.
and he's not Victor Hovland that's just talking about aliens all the time and all the different things that he thinks about. I think Scotty does ask some, existential questions of himself, the world, of society. I think if you look in what he, I think Spieth said it after the round today. He's the most grounded person that you could like all of us, even like the best of us, are guilty of the corporate. We'll go take that jet ride over there. Yeah, we'll shill for this company. Yeah, we'll go do TGL. We're gonna give up a couple Mondays and we'll go do that. He didn't do any of that. Look at his Rolex ad. It is just snippets of videos of other things that have happened in his career and press conference quotes. It's not him giving Rolex any time for anything. I think he gives Nike and TaylorMade each 2 days a year, and that's it. There's nothing else. He is not going to do the Seminole member. He's not going to do the Pine Valley Pro this. He's gonna hang out at the home club. He's gonna talk. And I think that's what he means, is that there's just, this is important to me, but it's not everything. And for him, I think it really is about the process. I think Dylan DeChair's article last night, it blew my mind. Like, Eli and I have talked about it 2 or 3 times, that we talked about it on the golf course, we talked about it in the car ride home. Tiger in 2020 at the COVID Masters made that 10 on 12 when he ping ponged it into the water from all different sides. His playing partner that afternoon was Scotty. And after that 10, he went on and birdied 5 of the last 6 holes that day. And when you ask Scotty what's the most impressive thing about Tiger, it's that he birdied 5 of the last 6 holes. Not that he has the best golf swing, not that he's probably the best pure athlete, not that his body's built up, not his swing is the best swing you've ever seen. It's the fact that for 72 holes, no matter what, every single shot gets the same level of attention. And I just think that's what's going to help him sustain. If you think about Phil going for the Grand Slam, he had scar tissue at the US Open. I mean, tons of it before the Grand Slam was even going to be a thing. Before the Masters win, he had scar tissue built up from close calls and second places at the US Open. Rory, before his first major, had one of the biggest choke jobs at Augusta ever, and it was up on this pedestal for him to go and chase. Scotty didn't have that at the US Open. He kind of just has a ho hum US Open record. I think he finished fourth this year, maybe seventh. I think tied for seventh. I don't think he loved Pinehurst very much, but he got better as the week went. He doesn't have that built up, and I think that's going to be the difference maker for him over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I agree. Well, one thing you pointed out, Kirsch, you said in the kind of the rankings of where everybody currently stands, obviously Scotty at the top, then there's a gap, and you get to Rory, right? They're not as close as many would like to think. And then after Rory, there's a gap, and it's kind of everybody else. Like, it. Can you guys think of like who might be the next person, or is it just a big cluster of guys that all might have their day in time? But is there another like great Scotty or Rory type person out there right now?
I feel like there's a whole lot of really good 2 to 10s. Like there's a group of guys that are going to be, as Kirsch likes to say, the Wikipedia top 10, that they're around and they're going to play well. And sometimes they're not going to be in contention, but they're going to be number 8. They're going to be number 3. Some are going to grab 2 every once in a while. But it doesn't feel like, and I think this week really felt like it was more of a point for me with the fact of how many bogeys he didn't have. Is like, that's professional golf. On Thursday, I wrote it down because I thought it was pretty interesting. Shane Lowry on Thursday was in the rough, hit in the green, hit it to the green, and it was 25 plus feet away. And the commentator said, "It doesn't look like it, but that's a good shot." And Scotty does that more often than everyone else. 25 two putt for par. Like even his caddy talking about on their double, he's like, "It's okay. We're gonna get a bogey or double on this, and then we'll keep playing." And like, but everyone else, at some point, it feels like they have to press. They tried to make the magic shot. They and it's just, if you think about it, I'd be interested to go back and look and see, because there were always like birdie putts that were just missed and stuff like that. But if you took away like half of the bogeys that were made from the top 5 players, how close would they have been to Scotty? And like that, it's he makes the good shot, and that's the distinction. Um, and then obviously the bounce back. You come back and like, mentally that has to be hard because I mean we're supposed to be playing the game. I'm assuming Eli does this, David. Like you're trying not to pay attention to what everyone else is doing. Like you're focusing on your shot, but there's got to be something to it whenever he doubles and you're there and you're a whole couple of holes ahead and someone murmurs it or whatever that you go, oh, we let's make a run now. And then the very next hole he goes back and birdies. And I think I was in the middle of something in between, so I saw that he was up. Then I saw the double, and then I was away from my TV for a little bit and came back, and it's the exact same score it was like a hole by 7. I'm like, well, crap, what do you do? Like you're 6, 7 hole, you always
When
feel like you're
look at the first
behind.
hole. Look at the first hole today. How Tong Lee hits it to 6 feet. You're like, uh-oh. Okay, all right, How Tong, yeah. And then Scotty hits it in front of him.
Right,
Like first hole, it's like, oh, okay, we're both just gonna make birdie. All
right,
right, well, I guess I'm not gonna pick up a shot.
yeah,
I, looking back at that question, do I like Bryson? No. Do people think that Bryson's, did he get a Wikipedia top 10 this week when the wind stopped blowing and all of a sudden he could just hit the ball exactly how he wanted to every time because there was no elements? Yep. But he did it, right? He golfed his ball around. He did it. He won the US Open last year. He's had 3 total wins
right,
since 2022. That's it. 2, and he's playing against literally people who no one has heard of. For the most part, he has 2 wins on the 54 tour, and he did get the US Open. Okay, so he's definitely not the next person. Justin Thomas has 16 wins in his professional career, 2 majors, a players. Scotty has 16 wins, 4 majors, 2 players, and an Olympic gold medal since the last time he missed a cut.
right.
Like there is Rory's had a heck of a year. Rory has those 2 signature wins early on, plus the Masters. He there's no shame in what Rory's done, but the gap is massive. And then three through 10 is just, whoever's kind of feeling it at that moment. That's about it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's a clear cut number 3 out there. I think there's a lot of, like Jonathan was started saying, like there's a lot of really good, you know, probably 10 to 15 guys that could fall into that category, but nobody has set themselves apart like Scotty and then Rory. And it's crazy. Like Rory, when clicking, is one of the best golfers in the world. We all think that he can drive it like crazy. He hits incredible wedge shots, iron shots, and stuff. But he seems, I guess, the difference between him and Scotty, when there's a bad shot, you can see him, Rory, wearing it more on his sleeve, and he does not respond as well, maybe with the next shot or process it quick enough and move on to the next shot. Like Scotty might hit that same bad shot, and you would never know that he didn't hit it exactly where he wanted to. It's like, all right, let's just figure out how to get it up down from here. Like Scotty is so head and shoulders apart everybody else. I think, like you guys were both saying in that presser, he just said, what's important on the course is important on the course. But outside of that, I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband, a good friend, all this other stuff. So he wants to win. Like he has that mindset of when I'm on the course, I'm going to practice hard and I'm going to play hard to win. And he's got the talent to back that up. But outside of that, like he's so stable and grounded that allows when times are not going as well on the course, which they don't happen that often, he can handle it and he does it well. So, yeah, there's a big gap. It'll be interesting to see. I hope somebody else steps up. It'd be fun to have a big 3, a big 4, but we'll see. What's the best thing you saw this week? Maybe non Scotty related.
I would say that some of the still images that came out of just Portrush as a whole, um, Links golf is just awesome. Ireland looks like the most amazing place on the planet. It looks like it's a little bit of a time capsule, but I, I kept thinking of, and this might, nah, I'm gonna save that one in case you ask the other question about major season this year. I would say the best thing I saw this year or this week was actually on the 17th tee box today. Tung and Scotty laughing.
Yeah.
And like Scotty knowing like, okay, like I probably haven't enough, but like Tung Lee just, just seems like the guy that's just the happiest to be there. I think he quit golf for like 6 months, a few years back, was just frustrated. He's got the weight of the entire nation of China on his back sometimes. And I think, he was asking, somebody said he was asking Scotty this week about hey, if I'm gonna come play on the PGA Tour. Can I get some practice rounds? And Scotty said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he said, all right, when I text you, you better answer. And Scotty looked at him and said, how tongue who? And I just thought it was a good moment of just levity. Like, here's this guy that's going to go out and do amazing things. He's up by enough that he could, hit 7-iron the rest of the way and be fine, but he's able to have that moment, express it. And I think that goes back to that callback of the press conference. Like, there is more to it. It's the fact that he had the perfect partner on the perfect day in the perfect place to go through that walk. So that's an image that'll stick with me. And that, them laughing and seeing them go back and forth down the fairway, was just funny to me.
Yeah, I did jot down. I wonder what they've been talking about all day.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of things would come up in that conversation? So, yeah, very nice. Jonathan?
I got more text messages and comments on Facebook from friends of whether or not the golf ball that Rory hit was mine. Uh, the one that popped back
Uh-huh.
up. My first thought was Kramer. If there had been like
Right.
someone should have
Yeah,
referenced, is that a Titleist? That
that's right.
was my first thought. I thought that was funny. And somewhere in some shack, there's a groundskeeper who just wanted to die. Like, how in the world did we lose a ball for that long and then it pops up on the shot? I did see something like one of the only ways, I think I said it to everybody, one of the only ways Scotty could have lost was that he also hit a ball and think it was his, but it wasn't. And he gets like a 22 stroke penalty because he finishes the round with the wrong ball. Uh, yeah, that,
I think it was cool though how Rory responded.
oh,
Like
it
a
was
lot of
hilarious.
times, like people could be like, "Oh, I can't believe this," but like he was laughing about it.
Well, his
Um,
ball did go where he wanted it to go. If that had happened and it
it
had
ended up a
like,
little. It ended up a little short from where he was hoping,
yeah,
but
but if that had just like shot off into the wastelands, he would
yeah,
not have been happy. But
yeah.
yeah, so, like I said, someone somewhere, they're like, who was in charge of that hole? How did you not find all those balls? That was crazy.
I'm sure that's not the only one. There are balls
Yeah,
buried there
everywhere.
for a long
Hmm.
time and a long time to come. So, um, yeah, I think just like you were saying, Kirsch, like the images of the course, it makes you want to go there and go visit Portrush. I did see one little snippet. I love these things where they somehow mic up or not mic up, but like they can point their microphones and catch the conversations in the crowd. I love those conversations. There was one they showed with the father son. I think it was on social media, and they were watching Rory, and his dad's like, "Do you think you want to play that one day?" He's like, "Yeah," and just the interaction of a father son there in Ireland watching the golf, cheering on the hometown favorite. I just all that stuff's really cool. I think that's a way to bring golf and the exceptional play that these incredible athletes have, make it a little more relatable and allow people here in the U.S. or wherever they were watching feel like you were there, because you'd probably be saying a lot of the same thing, like I wish I could play there one day. But anyway, we talked about the course. I love the shots on 17. Kirsch, you had the question: had the course hold up? What'd you guys think of Royal Portrush as an open venue?
I was hoping for more weather, but that's just because you want to see the test, right? You want to see, can they fight through the elements. We talked about a lot on the pre-show was the draw, and at some point that felt like it almost got nullified. And that would have been interesting to watch, especially if you think about like could have gotten closer on a Sunday if the early round had good weather and then wind and rain might have blown in. Um, which also goes to show you like on an even playing field, you're not beating Scotty. Like if it's all
Yeah.
if it's just golf, it's over. So you either got to you got to get the police involved, you got to get weather involved, you got to get something else involved because otherwise it's over.
I thought the course held up as well as it could. in those conditions, because you saw it on Thursday when there was weather. The
Mhm.
scoring average was, 73 is 2.5 over par, I think it was. And I'll think back to Scottie's shot on 16 on Thursday compared to today. He hit this low, really cool cut right to this front right pin, but he missed it. He's on the proper side. He did everything right, but it was like crazy finish. Say he just hit a stock 4 iron, because there's no wind, there's nothing to think of. I think that was the difference, right? That's the aerial test. That's how Bryson gets back to the cut number. That's how Bryson, gets into the top 10 is there was no wind. There was no variable. He could just go up and dome golf it around. And, um, he's missed the last two open cuts for a reason. And it's because there was weather. And without it, it it's hard to get any golf course to challenge these guys, but especially one that was built, 100+ years ago without modern equipment, even a thought. It's just going to be harder to challenge them when there's no weather blowing.
I and I've got a little thing later I'll do, but just links golf, right? Like I love it. Jonathan and I got to experience a little bit of it this year, but being able to play the ball on the ground, like watching these guys on 18, like especially Harris English and Goddard, like they get up there and they show their shots from behind these low stingers that probably got
Hmm.
20 feet off the ground, if that. Like that for me is a lot of fun. I love trying to figure out how to play different shots on the ground, and I think the greens too allowed. And again, it's just the way that those courses are designed. Like you don't go right at the flag because there's slopes and undulations and things like that, or runoff that might take you kind of like Lee, like Halton Lee, like his comments after he hit that shot on 17, like he hit like the perfect shot, he catches the slope, it gets to the green, then it hangs a right and drops down to that bunker, and just his reaction was perfect. He knew like I'm playing with the Open champion here, and I love watching golf on links golf, and I love playing golf on links golf. So it was a lot of fun. So,
Hmm.
Kirsch, you had this question, and I'll get you to explain it because I had you explain it to me. And as soon as you did, it made a lot of sense. You said stealing from the rewatchables. I'm not even sure what that is. What was the Star Wars two moon shot of the year in this year's major? And you
Yeah, so
said,
What?
go
so
ahead.
in the rewatchables, it's a podcast that talks about movies, old movies, any movie that you'd have seen. Think about a TNT movie that you just like, oh, I'm going to catch this halfway through, and then you're going to watch it. Well, one of the categories that they have whenever they're talking about one of these movies, like what's the shot that you remember, some sort of artistic shot. And so when you think about the original Star Wars, one of those images is Luke Skywalker standing there. There's two suns in the image, and everyone has seen that still shot. And for me, the things that jumped out at me for this year that made me even think of this is thinking about Rory winning at Augusta, and there's the image of him on the ground, kind of just got done fist pumping, and he's on his knees, and he's looking up, and he's doing one of those numbers, and there's thousands of people around him. But knowing Rory, knowing what's happened since, knowing some of the other things, there's all of those people around him, and yet you you could make the argument that he's maybe the most lonely person on the planet at that moment. And then there was the image that came out this week from Portrush on Thursday, where Scotty's on the fifth green, that it's the infinity green that overlooks, there's the water, and the image is the pin and Scotty, and that's it. And yet you look at that and you think that's a dude that's got so many people around him that he's just in this spot. And it was just these these juxtaposition of those two images are just going to be seared into my memory for as long, I guess, as they are. But I think about that Rory surrounded by people and alone, and Scotty completely alone out on this cliff, and yet surrounded by people. It's just an interesting
Yeah.
juxtaposition.
So, Jonathan, any lasting images for you from this major, or maybe just majors in general this year?
Um, I mean, I think for me, I got to go to the Masters, and the one image that still gets me every time is scoreboard watching. Like, there's nothing better than being at a tournament. You don't know what's going on everywhere, and you get to look up and watch the magic numbers come down and the magic numbers come up. And Like we have so much technology. I mean, we go play golf. We have Arcos. We've got lasers. We've got things. We've got screens on a cart. We've got all the things that you could possibly imagine to help us be connected. Music playing, and I'm not against any of those things, but sometimes it's just really nice to sit in some grass and watch a scoreboard. Um, I'd love to be able to go to all of the majors and find a scoreboard. And I think if I went to the Open again, and we went last year and got to listen to the commentary and all that kind of stuff through the radios, I think if I went again, I'd probably keep the radio off. Like, just enjoy the day. Kind of like what Kerr said, right? They're walking down 17. They seem to be laughing and chatting. It's good to see that kind of experience where they just seem to be enjoying golf. It helps whenever you're winning by 6 strokes.
Yeah. I think for me, like, I saw a picture of the four major champions today on social media, and just maybe picking back in a little bit of off what Kerr said about the image of Rory at the Masters, but you had Rory, Scottie, Spawn, and then Scottie again. And so, like, you've got, as we just talked about, two of the best golfers in the world taking three out of the four majors this year. And then Spawn, really, really good player, capturing the other one. And he won it, he deserved it. But I think that image to me kind of signifies that this was a year that the best showed up and did their thing. And I just that if you want to be the best, you're gonna have to beat the best. And I think people are gonna have to beat obviously Scottie, but beat Rory too. And that makes me want more. I'm a huge fan of both of theirs, and I want them to keep winning. I love especially Scottie, who he is and what he stands for. But it would be fun to see more and more people kind of step up. And I think I want to see that on our American side too, because we've got a Ryder Cup coming up, and I want to see some other strong guys on the team. So we'll talk about the Ryder Cup here in a second. A couple more things on this list. Early thoughts on next year's majors. Do we just say Scottie wins them all and we just move on? Like, what are your thoughts? It's a long time until the Masters, which makes me sad. And I know Kirsch has got his rants built in there, and we've heard them, but that makes me sad that it's not until next April when we get the next major.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the betting world's going to be Scotty versus the field, right? I don't, and I don't know, and there'll be a ton of pressure. It'll be interesting to see what kind of pressure there is for him to finish his Grand Slam, and whether or not that takes a toll. Um, and then if he doesn't, does he become, is he sliding off the hill? Is he going to have a downfall? But I don't know I don't know how you expect it to get. We always want it to get better and better and better, and I don't know if it will or if it's just like good year, bad year. I think it'd be fun if you had four first-time winners next year. I mean, those would be good stories. That'd be fun stuff to talk about.
Well, you talk about Scotty sliding. Last year he had 8 wins. This year he follows up that incredible year with two majors, right?
Right.
And a players, and um, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've been on a little bit of a heater. We were talking about this. I think Eli and I might have been talking about it today. Tiger's stretch where, you know, who did Tiger beat compared to who did, Scotty beat? Is the competition that different? If you look at it from '02 to '05 when they were both 26 to 29 years old or whatever, in the time that Scotty or that, that time frame, Tiger won four majors, Scotty won four majors. Other people to win majors during that time: Phil won two, Ernie won one, Retief won one, VJ won one. But there was also Sean McKeel. There was also Curtis. There was also there was a couple, three or four. I think Furyk won one of his during that time. So there was a few where people, not the top of the top. We've been on a heck of a run. Spawned about the only kind of outside of left field name, but even he was ranked inside the top 30 at the point. So I think next year we're probably due for one or two quote unquote surprises. Maybe a Tommy Fleetwood picks one off. little scrappy guy. Can't seem to get it done anywhere. Maybe he does it next year. It's probably a low blow, but uh, the I think next year Scotty's going to go and get at least one, if not two. Um, you know, but then
Majors
the
or
speed
wins?
majors. I think
Wow.
Scotty's going to win 4 times a year for the next 5 years.
A
He,
major a
he's
year.
he's he's Tiger. I
Yeah,
mean, he is.
he is the closest thing since the prime Tiger. So
I can't get over the fact that he's had Justin Thomas's entire career since his last miscut. And
yeah,
Justin Thomas is arguably the best
Good
player of his
golfer.
little pocket of
Correct.
generation, right? Like he's up there. He's got the majors, he's got the players, he's got all of those things, and it's like, well,
That's cute.
it's
Wow.
cute. It's really cool what Xander's doing. Really cool, Rory. Way to pick off those couple wins this year. Like, good
yeah,
job by you, man. Keep your head up.
yep. All right. So before we jump into some Ryder Cup preview chat and thoughts, I started jotting down some random thoughts, and it's kind of like little one-liners that I'd probably text you guys anyway. So here, I'm just going to roll through my random thoughts for the day, and we've kind of hinted at a couple of them. One, what do you think Scotty and Lee talked about today? Hatton got his Top Golf hat by winning Angry Birds at Top Golf. If Wyndham Clark makes the Ryder Cup team, I hope Keegan has a practice round at Oakmont. Learn to play boring, amazing golf, smart golf like Scotty. Goddard needs to lose the chain. Matt Fitzpatrick swings hard on every shot. Xander, I thought we were past the zipper on collar shirts. Can you imagine if a drive hit a seagull? Scotty's dad being a dad and taking cell phone pics while every other person has incredible cameras on his son on 18. Watching Sky Sports via Peacock was awesome. I really want to play Royal Portrush. Links golf is the best. And then I had the comment about the Tiger stat that I threw in there. So those are my quick thoughts, random thoughts, one liners throughout the day. Any comments on any of those?
The Sky Sports thing with Trey Wingo, was it Trey, right? They were really pushing the Guinness. Like it was, come on,
That was not what
guys.
I was watching then. There was some
Oh,
all access thing on Peacock too.
I was watching I think it was the All Access. Man, they were
Yeah.
pushing Guinness. Like, geez, guys, I know they're a sponsor, but this is not natural at all.
Well, the nice part about Sky Sports is there were hardly any commercials. There were a couple times where it went to a commercial, but there were hardly any, and I loved
Oh,
it.
they were
So
just drinking it on the set and talking about how amazing it was. It was supposed to be like some sort of natural plug, but
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I think the two things from what you said there, one on the broadcast stuff, I thought Graham McDowell, especially Thursday and Friday, was fantastic. Holy cow, didn't know that's what we lost. Honestly, I don't know if he still plays live golf or if he's retired. I honestly have no idea. Um, but if he's open to coming back, get Kisner out of that seat as fast as humanly possible. Or if I'm ESPN and I'm gonna outbid NBC for something, go get him because that'll instant. He got him and Bones get the most amount of useful information out in 13 seconds of any two people that are doing it right now. And I was just blown away. The other thing that you said about boring golf, it was funny. We went through it, I think Thursday night and Friday night, and I think on out of 36 holes, Scotty hit his approach shot to the fat part of the green. So if the pin was on the left, he hit it on the right. If the pin was on the right, he hit it on the left. He did that on like 16 out of 18 holes both days. That means he's never short-siding himself. And I think the two times he didn't, he was still on the green. Like it wasn't, he just doesn't put himself in bad spot because he doesn't go pin hunting. And he's always pin high, just like somebody else we know who used to dominate. If you're pin high, it's hard. Just aim to the middle of the green, call it a day, and go roll some putts. And
and you might make a putt every now and then.
I think he has 13 wins since Rory told him to switch to the mallet putter.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. You mentioned Kisner. I saw that he's getting a lot of brushback for his comments about Wyndham and the USGA. It wouldn't have been a big a deal if the USGA hadn't come out or anything like that. Almost sticking up for Wyndham, and that he's getting a lot of pushback because I mean, Wyndham shouldn't have destroyed a locker at Oakmont. So anyway, sometimes. sometimes you got to be careful where you're sticking up for your friend because your friend might have been a bonehead at the time, and you just need to let it
And
ride. So
if you're Wyndham, who's giving these guys advice? Like, if you're Wyndham, how have you not already sent them a check for that? Like, how have you not already on your own dime flown back up there to say, hey guys, I'm really sorry. Here's what's the number to get the lockers restored? And oh, by the way, here's 25,000 for your favorite charity.
right, yeah,
Or here's 25,000 for your junior golf program
right,
in the city of Pittsburgh. And
yeah,
just like you could have done it all.
Full
But
page
I
ad.
swear, between him, Rory, and Morikawa this year, it's how many times can we step on our own feet and trip on our tongue or whatever that expression? It's just unbelievable. These guys could just throw some of that money my way. I'll give you better advice than whatever it is you're getting.
yeah. Or just in your own consciousness and whatever. Like know that what I really shouldn't have done that. I am really really sorry. Like you don't need somebody to tell you that you're wrong. You
Well,
just
he's already moved on, so be
yeah,
careful.
yeah, he's already moved on. Anyway, all right, let's talk Ryder Cup. And let's start with Kirsch's rant if we can. Is this now a good time for it? You want to
Yeah,
save it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so I was thinking about this today. There were different stats floating around. I'm going to take a shot at Live first. There's been 14 majors since Live's first event, and Live guys have won two. Scotty's won three. PGA Tour guys have won 12 out of the 14. So there's that. But in finding that information out, 10 of the last 11 major winners, Americans. I think it's 26 out of the last 34 Americans. Top five on the leaderboard today, Americans. Maybe, just maybe, we are blowing this entire thing out of proportion. Who did we not talk about at all this major season? Ludwig, Shane Lowry. Those are Matt Fitzpatrick. He was around ish this week, but it's the first time he's been around since, the last 2 weeks. He's done nothing. He's not even close to the captain pick line. Like it's really close if he's going to make the team or not make the team. The Hoygaards, a lot of talk about them. They've been in the States playing on the PGA Tour this year. I think they're 40th and 50th or something like that in FedEx Cup standings. They're not exactly knocking it out. Rom, I think, has a win, maybe on Live, but outside of that, he's missed more cuts on the PGA or in opens, I think, or in majors. I think we're blowing this way out of proportion. I think the top 5 or 6 guys on both sides are really, really good. And I think the bottom 5 guys on both sides, 6 guys, are a little bit left. We're not talking about adding a Scottie Scheffler as our 12th player. We'll put it like that, like we were at Whistling Straits. So I think both teams are a little bit down, and I think that it's been blown way, way out of proportion, as if we're just rolling up there with a bunch of, you know, hats compared to this behemoth of a European team. I just don't see it.
So you're calling early prediction? You're calling U.S. in a landslide?
Until somebody wins on foreign soil, yes. I think it's at least a 2-point win, if not 3 points by the time we get there, depending on what the teams look like.
So I like your thoughts. There have been so many years where on paper, and on paper not just being like world ranking points, but like recent wins, all this other stuff, that the U.S. should be heavy favorites. When I was in like fifth or sixth grade, baseball made the All Star team. We had an incredible team. There were so many good players from their individual teams. And when we got to the All Star team, uh, we lost very, very quickly because our team uh, did not come together. One, poorly coached. All stars in rec league, it's like, all right, we're going to play our kid regardless. Poorly coached. Our team did not gel. We did not come together. We lost, probably to a lot of inferior teams. That reminds me of a lot of U.S. Ryder Cup teams, like a lot of talent, and they don't gel like the Europeans. You talked about the guys that
But
on the European side that you mentioned that might not be winning majors, might not be doing all this, but like you give Justin Rose a putter in the Ryder Cup, like he's lethal when it comes to Ryder Cup play. And back in the day, Ian Poulter, like he wasn't winning a ton of tournaments and stuff, but like no one wanted to face him or Sergio or all this other stuff. Like the Europeans somehow they bond way better than the U.S. team does. They tried, Zach Johnson tried to get his boys together and a lot of friends and all this other stuff. And, the boys club that Zach assembled didn't do anything in Rome. So I'm all, I get it. The home teams won the last number, but the Europeans are always a strong, unified team when it comes to Ryder Cup.
I, maybe. I think that it's all blown out of proportion depending on the year. I think people give this Ryder Cup thing as far as the Europeans are this unified. Okay, that they got beat 19-9 the last time it was in the US. And the time before that it was in the US, they lost 17-11. So there's not a lot of kumbaya and like, oh, look at how great this European Ryder Cup team was when they're getting trounced over here. Now, did we go over there and get beat? Yeah, but out of those last four Ryder Cups, is the US up 17-12 in net points? Yeah. I think Europe's gets really like, oh, look at how cool they are when they're in Europe and they're winning. And I think the US is look at how dominant they are and how they're going to be when they're in the US and they're winning. I mean, nobody has won on foreign soil in more than a decade. It really took a true miracle for that to happen. So
Yeah.
I think it's all blown out of proportion. I think it's going to be hard for them to come over here and win, and I think it's going to be hard for us to go over there and win in 3 years.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. My allegiance and who I will be cheering for is the U.S. squad. Like
I'm
I,
just glad I don't have to get up at 2 a.m. this time.
I know the Ryder Cup's one of my favorite events in all of sports, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, any besides, so I went back and looked at the Ryder Cup standings, and they haven't updated it as far as I haven't seen it yet. But the top six prior to this week was for the U.S. team: Scottie, Xander, Spawn, Henley, Bryson, and JT. Um, do we think?
Harris English bumped JT out after today's finish, and
Okay,
then I think after next week or his next tournament, assuming it's a top 20, he probably will be bumping Bryson out at that point too, or Bryson to sixth at least at that point.
okay,
And then if JT would have a chance to bump, Bryson's probably going to fall out of the top six before the automatics lock in. But I think Keegan already came out today and said Bryson's getting picked for this team. So
okay.
um, just because it's all based on dollars and they're about to run into the FedEx Cup playoffs. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, no, and I want Bryson on the team. Like I want him
I do too.
hyping. I want him
I
hyping
think
up
he
the
should be on
crowd
the
when he
team.
pulls out the driver to try to hit it, 4 miles. So, um, yeah. So,
I,
all right. So my question is then, if we kind of have an idea of who might be automatic qualifiers, who like give me two or three people that you would want as captain's picks. Like we don't have to try to pick the entire thing. You could throw out six names if you want. But like, who are people that you would want on the as a captain's pick?
I think Bryson. I think he's going to have to be a captain's pick, and I think he should 100% be on the team. And I uh, cannot stand him.
Yeah,
But that's I think he needs to be on the team. I've been saying Harris English for a while, so the fact that he just made the team more than likely,
yeah,
that makes it a little bit more of a who's who. But
yeah.
I think Mad McNeely should be on the team. I think he's been him and Russ Henley. I think are going to be able to pair up. I'm still out on Keegan captaining and playing. I think he should do one or the other. I'd be fine if he wants to play. I think he's one of the best 12 that could be on that team right now. I just don't think that you can do both. And based on the comments this week, I don't think the PGA of America wants him to do both. It sounds like they want him to make that choice. So, um, that those are the names that jump out to me right away. I got her up. He's gonna have to stay hot for like another 3 or 4 or 5 weeks to earn a pick. I think he's probably cracked the top 20 now in points
Yeah.
based on his finish this week. But um, yeah,
Who,
Okay.
that's where
who,
I would start.
who coaches if he doesn't? Who would you
I
pick?
mean, Brant Snedeker is the top assistant captain, and I think he's played on enough of the teams and he's been a part of this since the beginning that if they just bumped him up to be the captain or co-captain, and made him the de facto in charge, I think that would be okay. I think that as soon as this is done, they're going to announce Tiger, and probably Justin Rose for Adair Manor. I think that's the next one. It's going to be in Ireland at Adair Manor. Uh, the person that owns Adair, built Adair, is one of the richest people in all of Europe, and a friend of the Tiger Woods Foundation. And I think that's where Tiger's going to be captain on away soil. He's not going to have the pressure of having to win at home for his first one. And if he wins, I think he could stay on. But I think that they're going to announce that. So if there's a scenario in which Tiger's going to come in and do this one, he he hasn't had to do media for the last 2 years. He hasn't had to do all of the press stuff and all of the corporate sponsors and all of those things. He could literally just come in and be the captain for the week. I wouldn't be against that either.
I was just ready to say if I had to pick somebody to help like push it over the edge, not as even as a player, it'd be Tiger because I think he's like the senior statesman still of, all right, guys, we're gonna get this together. We're gonna make sure that we've paired this up. He obviously knows how to play whatever the match play is for that sort of thing and find the guys. I think he could push the right buttons. Um, I'm just curious, like how many. My biggest concern about the Ryder Cup is always what's the outfit going to be like? Because sometimes they pick the most hideous. Like I don't know who designs this nonsense, but I hope that it's something that I might be interested in buying a jacket or something. That would be, and I would always pick Bryson because I think Bryson screams America, whether you like him or not. He's fun to watch.
Yep.
He is most definitely the loud American. if you t-
I think that I think the part where it gets tricky is, Ben Griffin's eighth in points. So I think technically he's probably ninth by now. Um, does he make it? He's not a great course fit for Bethpage. Andrew Novak was a hot name, but one of his wins was a team event. So, you know, again, does he fit the course? And then I think it comes down to, how much do you want to let your players have a say in this? And does Scotty get his guy in Sam Burns? And
Yeah.
does Xander get his guy in Cantlay?
Yeah.
Both of them are outside the top 15 looking in. Both of them missed the cut at the Open, I think. And, it's just going to come
I
down
think
to
Sam made it.
Burns might have made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Cantlay did not.
Yeah. I mean, you got, currently you got like Morikawa kind of hovering near the automatic qualifier line. But who knows who his caddy's going to be? Obviously, it's not going to be what's his name, who was with him the last couple weeks, who said he would not caddy for him in the Ryder Cup. Harmon's close by. He had a decent week. I know he seemed like a fighter. He would be. I don't know. He's been on him before. Like I don't know. Like it'll be interesting to see Maverick McNeely. But I don't know. I'm always wanting like a young guy that wants it, right? Like I want people that maybe have come straight from the college ranks or something that are used to match play that came from a team environment and haven't been too I don't know too like adjusted to the I play for myself all the time only mindset. Like I want people like, and it seems like Keegan's kind of like this. Like he's like, what? I love the team events. I want to win for my country. Like I want to win for the team kind of guy. So I don't know. We will see. If you guys were Keegan, let me ask this: what would y'all do? Would y'all play or would you coach or manage or lead?
I would play. Like if Keegan should have turned it down and said, I'm not gonna do that yet. Like, please consider me, but I think I'm gonna go try to make this team. Um, that should have always been what the answer was. But the PGA of America should have never even asked him. Like, it's just so dumb. It's one of the worst decisions that they could make. But I if he has committed to being the captain, which he seemingly has over the last 12 months, 18 months, then that's what you should hold to. But I would play, man.
yeah.
You don't. You have 20 more years to be the captain of the Ryder Cup team. This might be your last chance to make the team,
Yep.
and you're not getting any younger.
You got to pick yourself before giving up that captaincy, though.
Like a
Well, if he's like,
self pardon.
I'm not gonna lead. I want to be picked, and then they bring in somebody, and they're like, yeah, we're not going with you. I'm sorry.
That's just a back behind the scenes deal. I'm gonna let you be captain now, as long as you
Yeah,
pick me for the team.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like you got to play. At some point, you're gonna be in your late 40s or whatever it is, and not able to make the team. and still be revered enough within your counterparts to be respected. Take Go out there and play.
I think he really wants to do both. I think he wants to be a playing captain.
Why do you guys think it's such a big deal if he does both? I mean, just because once you set the teams and everything else and how the matchup's going to go in between, it's not like
Because
you're not making changes on while you're playing the ninth hole.
well, you would be if you were captain.
You're gonna
Like if you're like it because it takes there's only 12 guys and it takes a he can't play in the afternoons. He's because he has to play or he can only play in that let me do the math on this. But like he can't play and be captain in the same, you know what I mean? Like he can't go and make an afternoon adjustment if he's playing in the morning. So he can only play in the afternoons when he sees what's happening in the morning, makes the roster adjustment, but he can't go play in the morning and make any kind of adjustments to the pairings in the afternoon based on how people play in the morning, or is somebody feeling well, or did somebody have food poisoning overnight? Like he can't do those things. So he's lit now. You only have 11 people that can play at any point and one guy that can only play twice. Like you're limiting yourself right there in an already limited situation. Because when you only have 12, both of these teams, no matter how loaded they are, they really only play 10. And one or two guys gets hidden every single Ryder Cup by both teams. So you're limiting you're down to 9 guys. Like it limits those things. And I don't think it's the best thing for the team. There's a reason it hasn't happened for 50 years.
Yeah. Well, we're getting closer to figuring out who will be on the team and who will be heading to Bethpage. So, all right. Any closing comments as we wrap up the major season? Jonathan, I'll start with you.
It really does feel sad that the next major isn't until next April. First for president of whatever it needs to be in order to get that fixed. I mean,
Are
that's
you
not
are,
this.
are you pumped for the FedEx Cup?
No. I mean, it'll be fine. It'll be golf to watch, but it's not the majors. If you just slid one to like August, September, if you could just and again, in the breather of it, right? We're doing these shows and we talk about it all the time. I can't believe we're already doing the preview show. It feels like we just got done with fill in the blank, the last one. And
Yeah.
so, uh, changing that schedule, if you're worried about TV times and everything else and how much people pay attention to whatever they're paying attention to, it could be fixed. Um, so it is a little sad that it'll be the Masters again, but we'll be pumped up sometime in the spring going, I can't wait for the Masters. So,
We're in
I just
July. Shall we find out if we're getting Masters tickets here soon?
oh, I will get that rejection email fairly soon.
That that should be coming up. We
Yeah.
should do a roundtable about that. Like everybody, wait to open that email.
Ooh, that'd be fun. We could do it live.
All right, you
Hmm.
at least you and I'll do it for
Right.
sure.
the I I wish the playoffs rotated. It sounds like they're heading in that direction, but it'd be really cool if the next tournament, they still have the 3M and they still have Wyndham to kind of get in and get it settled. But then what if the first playoff event was at Chambers and the second playoff event was at back at the Waste Management and you could, feel it's too hot to be probably there, but
Oh yeah,
what if it, what you can move that over to any other course. Medina number three is hosting, the semifinals, and you go back to Pebble for the finals, or you go to Torrey even or to Riv and you know San Francisco Golf Club because you're only building it out for the top 30 guys. So now it should open it up to different courses, those type of things. I think if we were going to some better venues, then I think TPT Southland in Memphis is okay. I think it's okay, but I don't know if it's okay the first week of August.
yeah.
Like
It's
that's hot.
hot.
Going to Atlanta,
Yeah,
in August, September, it's not awesome. So thankfully the BMW does move around, but I think it'd be a lot more if it was going. The Ryder Cup's going to be awesome. I've played Bethpage a number of times. Um, you know, I'm excited to see how it sets up for this one. That's going to be must watch, but it's sad to think that we're gonna, you know, the Masters countdown clock is on, and you know I do think it's going to be fun because that is the one major where I do feel like it's a little more like tennis that you're going to get your stalwarts at the top. So it's going to be his Scottie. Does Rory go back to back? There's going to be a lot of storylines into it, so I'm excited
Yeah.
for that.
Robbie, do you like that name drop? I mean, I've played Bethpage a couple of times.
I,
Do you like
I'm
that?
curious.
Do you
I'm
notice I
curious
slid
if
that in there?
I'm curious if he's worried that Rory's going to hit a shot and one of his old golf balls will fly up.
There's no doubt, especially on number 4.
Yeah.
It's a beast of a par 5.
Yeah, my closing thoughts. Again, kind of like I mentioned earlier, it's been a year of mostly dominance by the two best players in the world, and I'll be curious to see if they can keep it up. They both are still in the prime of their careers. We thought Rory, after finally winning the Masters, would just go on a tear that pressure would drop and fall off, and he's just kind of had some weird stuff going on this year. Scottie is just being Scottie, level, consistent, and in the winner circle again. So excited for Ryder Cup coming up. I'm sure we will be watching the FedEx Cup playoffs. Excited for Happy Gilmore too. One golf related thing coming out this week. Excited about that. So yeah, it's been fun, guys, doing these roundtables. We missed Mr. Decker joining us today, but other obligations had him elsewhere. So appreciate you guys, Kirsch. Great job on some of these topics, and it's fun to chat golf with you guys.
Yep. Can't wait for the Ryder Cup. See you then.
Absolutely, we will be chatting it up then. So, all right, Best Ball Roundtable for Jonathan, for Kirsch, for Josh Decker. This is Robbie. Appreciate you guys listening to the Best Ball Roundtable.